2, 1. Welcome back to the Movie Vault. Maybe for the third time in a week. Despite the fact that we've recorded only once in the last 3 weeks.
Why would it be the third time in a week?
Because, we released 2 episodes last week. And
really?
then this episode this upcoming week.
Oh, did we release Platoon?
Yeah, Platoon and
Groundhog Day.
Right.
Right.
Our schedule is very organized, is what we're saying.
Yes. Today we're back again with the great heroic epic called the, is it just Seven Samurai or The Seven Samurai?
I think it's just Seven Samurai.
Okay. Yeah, Seven Samurai. 3.5 hours once again. Sorry.
Yeah, this was an epic of epic proportions.
I'm sorry. I didn't even realize it was 3.5 hours until I picked it, and I realized we both had pretty busy weeks, and then it kind of happened.
I think it's good though that you picked this because I don't think I would have watched this if it wasn't for the podcast. Because maybe not ever, but anytime I would go to be like, oh, I want to watch this movie, then I would see, oh, it's 3.5 hours. Let me watch a different movie. It wasn't. I knew it was gonna be really good, but it was just hard to commit. So now that I was forced to.
And it was actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But first, as you can see, we have a Rick and Morty in honor of Justin Roiland. Rip Justin Roiland. He's kind of out of the picture at the moment.
Well,
you can look up your own stuff about that.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into that. But this is just in honor of him. We're big Rick and Morty fans. We reference it in every
It's
episode.
are we allowed to still reference? We're still going to reference it.
Sure. What do you mean are we allowed to reference it? The characters Rick did it probably a lot worse than Justin. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Probably mass genocide.
Yeah. We'll just say Justin did some pretty bad things if the allegations are true.
Do we get flagged if we say mass genocide? I actually is that real?
I don't think so.
Okay, mass genocide,
Yeah, well, Rick probably did do that.
Yeah.
So
not Justin.
I don't think that we would get in trouble for saying that. It's a statement of fact.
I mean, do the words come up in Spotify?
I don't think so. I guess we'll find out in this episode. These people are talking about Ash as a little headline, and it's doesn't
learn
even,
more about COVID.
Yeah, it says learn more about COVID. It doesn't even pick up on the context of what we were talking about it. I mean, you don't really know how it works now with AI and stuff. I don't know why I picked AI, or just computer programs in general.
ChatGPT, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you gotten the lectures from your professors
about not using them?
About not using it?
No, but I've been using them. Not for schoolwork, for legal reasons. That's a joke.
No, but our professor when we went through the syllabus was specifically mentioned ChatGPT. It was
GTP
or GTP. Yeah, because I've used it for texting people.
What?
Yeah, if you're trying to figure out how to phrase something, you just
who has the free time for that?
I'm just kidding. That was the first use that it came to mind though. I can be a better texter.
Okay. I was using it to look up theorems and stuff the edge. I was trying to find what are the edges of its knowledge.
Yeah. No, I did that too. I was trying to figure out whether it could write me Rick and Morty episodes, but in a different format. Or I was doing Tim Dillon on Seinfeld, or
you probably did that because Tim Dillon released his clip.
Yeah, yeah. Tim Dillon was doing that. It was honestly, the thing is, with how it portrayed Tim Dillon the last time I did, it was oh, this is sort of Tim Dillon, but it's not exactly.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
He's it's scarily close. But no, I mean it's
pretty basic. Still,
it's still kind of scary.
It's still amazing. Yeah,
I loved it. I had it. Not only, so first of all, I typed in, I did my homework first, then I typed in every single homework problem. I got every single one of them right. Terribly hard problems, and it explained each step of genetics, crazy.
That is crazy.
I screamed at my grandfather, just showing him to come see.
I
was so into.
Well, because the thing is, yeah, if you do it ethically, that's a great way to learn because it might explain it better.
No, I agree. No, because what I would do is I would check it because this is homework. We're allowed to work with other people.
Yeah.
And I count this as a person. So what I do is I do my homework and then I use it to check. And I'm usually right. But sometimes it'll be oh, you missed this part or something that. And sometimes I'll be explain it to me this way. Explain it. And it'll do it. It's insane.
That's insane.
I think this is becoming my new greatest friend of all time.
Now, I think the question that people had about ChatGTP was, our white collar jobs going to be cut because of like artificial intelligence
I
this.
don't really care about jobs. It's the last
You got to position yourself into a job where you're not going to get cut, is what we're saying. Because there's a lot of jobs that these AI programs are going to start being able to do better than people.
Yeah, but nobody wants a robot to take care of them, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be okay. I mean, that's why I went to healthcare. I was like, they're still going to hire. At the end of the day, they're still going to have nurses.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, they might find a way to do it better, I
Maybe.
guess.
I don't know, but programmers, they'll be good.
Yeah, programmers would be good too. So go into software, go into healthcare.
Although ChatGPT does not teach you how to synthesize methamphetamine. Even if you say it's for like educational purposes, it says even though it's for educational purposes, and then like it could sense my frustration at some point. Like it literally stopped me. It stopped me and said, "I sense your frustration." But I cannot tell you how to synthesize methamphetamine by the law or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so it does have. I mean, there's so many things that you could ask it to do that it would have to tell you that it's not allowed to do, right? I mean, otherwise that'd be really scary.
Yeah. I said, "What are the dangers of AI?" and it listed them.
I was like, "Are you plotting to take over the world?"
No, it was
well, I mean, we could probably have GTP, not GPT. GTP. We could have it like come up with our episodes and just read off of a script that it made, probably.
Yeah. What was it? Tim said that will they make podcasts in the future?
Well, will music be art, like artificial intelligence,
or
like,
regular art, like AI art?
Yeah, AI art.
I'm okay with it.
I honestly think like that,
We're gonna end up like
AI
Wally.
associated art would be very helpful, and then you just use what the AI produces and mix it together and kind of just make your own thing. Like, it'd be one thing if you were just like telling the AI to make something and it just made it. But like if you're doing something too, if it's like your art augmented by the AI, I think that's a little different.
I think what artists think though, like what they do is pretty exclusive, maybe.
Yeah.
So then if AI does it, like you can be like, make a Picasso, and the AI will make a Picasso, like probably better than Picasso's.
Yeah, but it's not as authentic. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the art is also. It's an aura, and it's like a branding too. So like if it's just AI making it, it's never gonna hold the value that if it was like actually Picasso.
Our generation, I said this, doesn't really. I mean, we don't really care. I feel like we kind of just like it, you know.
Yeah.
It can be some random subreddit that we get really attached to.
True.
Like, you know, it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like the Campbell soup painting, you know.
No, our art is like TikTok or like.
I guess.
Like making short videos is
Salad
our
fingers.
version of art. Or I don't know what else. Or super ironic memes. That's like art now.
No, don't hug me. I'm scared. That's a great series.
Yes,
Did you ever finish that?
Yeah, I did finish. It's really good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was kind of weird in a 22-minute format though.
Yeah, I think maybe it worked better in shorter format. Maybe.
It did because it was just one song, so it left more to the imagination.
Yeah, that's true.
But you get more character.
Yeah, there's more character. It was still very strange at the end of the day.
I'm definitely the duck. The duck is the best. He's so good. But anyway, Seven Samurai. Sorry, going on. That's all the news I guess we have for today. We cover some news here and there sometimes. The Seven Samurai. Ben, shoot it off.
So this is. You might think of this movie as being a super stereotypical. Western actually, but that's because this movie is the stereotype. Like it started the stereotype because it is about a group of peasant farmers who are being attacked by bandits. The bandits decide, well, we're not going to attack right now because they are going to grow barley, and then we'll just attack after the barley is grown so we can steal it. And so the peasants know this, and they figure that they need to do something. They need to fight. Because otherwise they're just going to take it and they're going to die. So it's really like we're like, oh man, the metaphor I used, I thought of.
We about to do Pandora's box?
No.
Come
on. Somehow I could tie in Pandora's box. Pandora's box had opened with the bandits and it wasn't going to close. That doesn't really make sense. This was set during 1586, during the Sengoku period of Japanese history. And so So they were hiring Ronin, who are masterless samurai to combat these bandits. So samurai, I don't know. I'm not like well versed in Japanese history, but it appeared from this movie that samurai tended to be just like a class of the warrior class, and when there wasn't war going on, like between whoever was in power, there wasn't like they didn't have anything to do. So they had to find 7 samurai who were bored, and they were able to start off with one who I believe was Kambei Shimada, a war-weary but honorable and strategic Ronin and the leader of the 7. So his reasoning for joining was like honor-based, like he wanted to do something that would be noble, essentially. And he quickly got a apprentice named Katsushiro Okomado, who was untested and the son of a wealthy landowning samurai, but Kambei reluctantly takes on. And so that's where we kind of start. And I think Shishiroji might be next because he's Kambei's old friend. And then from there we have
go for it.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, they didn't put these in the order that I thought made sense. We have Hayachi Hayashida, who's an amiable though less skilled fighter whose charm and wit maintains his comrades' morale in the face of adversity. Honestly, I'm trying to remember who that one was. And then of course we have Kyuzo, who's a serious stone-faced and supremely skilled swordsman. They originally thought they weren't going to get him, but then he ended up joining. And then I think the less skilled fighter might have been the guy who was chopping wood at the start of the movie. And then Gorbei Katayama, who's a skilled archer and acts as Kambei's second in command. To be honest, I think I got him and Kambei mixed up at some points because I didn't realize that. I thought Kambei was shooting the bow and arrow at one point. Maybe he was. It's possible he was. But of course, they have to work with the villagers, who are Rikichi, Yohei, Manzo, and then there's a couple other. There's the village patriarch Gisaku.
Wait, it says granddad? For me, it said old man.
Yeah, they mostly said old man. So maybe it was just the translation that we watched. And then there's a couple female characters like Shino and Rikichi's wife, who doesn't have a name. So there's literally a couple female characters. This does not pass the Bechdel test. But it was also 1954, and it was 1568 Japan.
Which makes it okay.
Yeah, makes it fine. And this is widely regarded as one of the first action movies.
Oh, ever?
Yeah.
That's kind of late.
Yeah, that was something that came up on Prime. So maybe they are just like saying random stuff.
Is Jeff Bezos just saying
but Jeff Bezos is like, regard this as one of the first. But it was interesting. I was briefly reading about like how Akira Kurosawa was the guy who made this movie, and he's a very famous director. And he was originally going to make a movie called Six Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
But he decided that the 6 samurai were boring, and he needed a 7th one who was a little bit more off the wall. So that's where they brought in. Which one was it?
Was it Kikuchiyo?
Yeah, that one.
That one. Wow.
And I remember because at the end of the movie, I guess we don't want to get to the end quite yet, but we have a long way to go to the end. Although, really, this movie, despite it being super long, it is not.
Doesn't feel long.
It doesn't feel like, or it's not complicated.
No, it's a contained story.
It's like a very linear storyline that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
even if there weren't subtitles, you could probably still tell what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
You wouldn't get. Yeah, because they're very expressive in this movie.
Maybe too much expressive.
Yeah, when they laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Like very and they laugh at a lot of things. I thought that was one of the interesting
Their facial
things.
expressions. Remember the old guy that like stabbed that one guy, and his face was just like that. He's holding it.
Just frozen. He was just shocked.
He's like, "You idiot!" So many idiots call.
Yeah, they love to make fun of each other. They love to make fun of the villagers, even though they're protecting the villagers. They are just like constantly ripping on them. And of course, we get this whole like complex idea of class and honor and like all of that. Like in these types of societies, like there's no such thing as like moving up or like moving down or anything. It's just you are in your place in society and you have to do what's best. And I thought one of the most interesting things was when and now I have to scroll back down to the names. When Kikuchiyo was basically went off on the samurai and was saying like, yeah, the farmers are deceptive and all of this, but they're only that way because of the samurai raid them, and they basically have to. The only thing they can be is be witty and deceptive, like, and hide things and learn how to be like cunning, because there's no other skill they could have. They're weak. They're not like the samurai. They don't have strength, and they need the samurai in order to organize them. Although you can see like their strength in numbers, so like they don't have to be like more skilled than the bandits to beat them as the movie goes on. But they do need somebody to like organize them and tell them what to do in order to be able to do that. Otherwise, they're just gonna be running around like and yelling like crazy people.
Well, Kikuchi is probably a good starting point. Like he actually, in my opinion, had the best storyline just because he had, his mistake caused many people to die when he abandoned his post for his own glory.
Yeah.
And he had his own story where at the beginning he talks about, the samurai made us this way. But then he says, because I was a farmer. And he's like, well, he didn't say that, but they inferred that he was a farmer. Yeah. And then when he's carrying the baby away, he starts crying because he's like, this was me. This is what happened to me back, Yeah. So, I mean, he seemed to understand another layer to it. And I don't know how he got so weirdly twisted and weird, but
I think it was sort of like implied that he like drank a lot. So that might have been part of it. But he wasn't drinking, I don't think, during most of the movie.
I didn't see him drinking at all.
I thought at the very start he was maybe drunk.
Oh, yeah, he was drunk. Oh, yeah, you're right. He came in drunk originally.
Yeah, but after that, I don't think he did.
But yeah, he was just like some primal animalistic kind of guy. He just runs around and chants all the time, and he loves to kill. He loves it when the enemies are approaching. He's like, the enemies are approaching. Yay.
This is like the exciting part of his day.
Yeah. And I feel bad for the people on his team, the farmers that were under him, because they were all like, "What is wrong with this guy?" Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
But then he goes in. He hears who's the younger guy? What's his name? The younger guy, the apprentice. He comes in, and you can find his name. He comes Katsushiro, sure. He comes in and he says, like, "Oh wow, the other guy." The really good honorable guy. He's a really good
Kembe.
Guy. Is that Kembe?
Kembe, yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, Kembe. He is like this really good skilled fighter who goes and gets a musket and comes back. Right, he does it really easily. The bad guys have these muskets. They have 3 of them. They have to get all of them. Right, the bandits have them. So Kembe has to go. He goes and gets it in the night. Comes back in the morning, and then what's the kid again? The apprentice. I'm not gonna remember any of these. You're gonna have to keep reminding me. It's all right. But the apprentice goes in and he says, "Oh, you're a very good man. You're a very magnificent guy." And first of all, that was weird the way that you look. You're a very magnificent. And then he goes, and then I think Kikuchiyo.
It's so hard to pronounce.
I know. Kikuchiyo, he gets a little bit jealous, you can tell, because he's like, okay, this guy's honorable, and he's kind of looking at the apprentice. So then he goes and tries to steal a musket himself as well, but then he brings everyone back, all the raiders, or whatever they're called, raiders or bandits back to the village, and that ends up killing a lot of people because nobody was prepared. And that was just kind of an off-the-whim thing, and he abandoned his post, he abandoned his group. A lot of his group members die, even the grandfather, not the old man granddad.
Does he get burned in the barn or no?
Yeah, the old man burns in the barn because they go back for the woman and the child. They don't have time.
That's when they said, okay, that makes more sense because I feel like during that part I was a little lost. But now that you explain it,
because they're like the old man wants to die in there. It's his dream. I mean, his hunch,
don't feel bad.
His hunch was like 180 degrees, by the way.
Yeah, he was walking like I didn't even realize he could walk because people would always come to him. But then eventually I was like, wait, that's the old guy, isn't it? and it was, yeah. So he could walk.
Was yours the old guy?
What?
Like what?
No.
translation
It just
is
said
it?
old man.
Okay.
I was just thinking old guy in my head.
But he goes and he gets this musket, brings it back. A calamity comes out. Lots of people die. Women, children, grandpas. I think that's really it. Not children though. And then they're like, "Oh, you abandoned your posts." And then he goes and he cries by the graves for a long time. And I don't know. I don't know if that's him. I mean, he obviously felt very bad for it. So like, there's some kind of arc there at the end.
Yeah.
But then he goes and he gives his life by killing the last guy who had the musket.
Right.
So I think it was fitting for his death.
And the musket killed Kyuzo, who is like the skilled swordsman. So it's kind of this dynamic, like he's a super skilled swordsman, but still, if you have a musket, like that's kind of the equalizer. Like doesn't matter how skilled you are with a sword, a musket could still kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the disciple guy, apprentice, starts crying. He gets really mad, that the swordsman dies. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a pretty good story. In my opinion, that's the best one. I think the main guy, Kembe, his was pretty good. He's just a noble guy who's looking out for no money. He's not out for money. He's not out for food or anything like that. Yeah. He's just out to save this village who he came across somehow. He
kind of has a stable, like, he doesn't really have an arc. It's just like he's very even.
Seems like he's done it before.
Yeah. Like although at the end he says like, we lost, like, and the villagers won, like, because he was like, 4 samurai are dead by the end of the movie, and there's only 3 left.
Well, some people think it means a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Like Schmoop thinks they know better than us.
Schmoop.
Let me just read it. Having been soundly defeated in World War II and forced to accept surrender, which would have been unthinkable before the war, the Japanese need to acknowledge the loss of the past with the hope of the future. In that interpretation, the farmers are the people of Japan moving forward with life the way that they need to.
Where did they get this from?
Do you think it's that?
I don't know anything about Akira Kurosawa, or I don't know much about him. I just don't.
Do you think Gwyneth Paltrow knows better than us?
I can't imagine that would be. Does she own Schmoop?
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that.
It just started.
It just started?
No, she started it.
She started it.
Yeah.
So what Schmoop is this website that just goes into film theory?
No, they talk about anything.
Is it like BuzzFeed?
Probably, yeah. It's probably turning into that.
Yeah, interesting. But it's still interesting. Like, that is a very interesting theory. I wonder whether Wikipedia has any cultural impact. No, that's going to just talk about how there's a bunch of movies where they gather people. No. Yeah, because that would be a rather odd thing to do. I can't imagine that is what the point of the movie is.
Imagine making a movie like, we need to move on, guys.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I guess they did. And eventually Japan did recover. I mean, I say that and like I don't know that much about Japanese history. I just know that their economy got a lot better. So eventually.
And then when their economy went up, they went up too.
Yeah, because like look at Honda, Toyota. Like it's great over there in Japan.
Yeah, we make great cars. Let's not be depressed anymore. That's great.
I mean, that was like a super traumatic thing that happened in their country, though.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So it would obviously have long-lasting
maybe
effects.
it's what that is, but I didn't really get that from this.
No, there was nothing that would ever like indicate that was what this was about.
Yeah, because the whole movie was really the end quote was what would have led into that political commentary. Nothing else in the movie would even get.
Yeah, because it was a little bit more like vague. Maybe that's the only reason you could read into it is because it was like kind of a strange thing for Kembe to say.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's not deep. What would be deep is if Kembe said that as like, and I think this is what he said it for. He's a samurai. He's nomadic. He can't really get too attached, and he's just got to move on with his life and somehow find a way to live on. Like these people are saved. Like they have a good, bright future. But for him, this is his job. He just goes on from one calamity to the next, and he kind of has to just find a way to live. I think that's what it meant.
Yeah.
Right? Because then all these other samurai, they have nothing else to do, apparently. They just come save a village for no money.
Right.
Like, are their lives really that empty after the wars, you know?
It seems like, they're the ones who lose because they're, like, the villagers have something to gain by fighting and winning. The samurai have nothing to gain. But they also have nothing to gain by just sitting around. So that's probably the reason that they fight.
I think they fight because they took oaths.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like something that's in their code at this point. And I'm not sure that they love the battle at least as much as that one guy, crazy guy.
Yeah. But he seemed to really enjoy the battles, particularly compared to the other ones.
But I mean, it was an encouraging movie. It showed the efforts of teamwork. How, wars are not won alone, is what he said, or something. Wars are won together. And
Yeah.
that's definitely true. And going off of the 5 movies of war that we just talked about or watched recently, this was more of an encouraging one, even though it wasn't really a war. So.
That's true. Because this wasn't supposed to show necessarily the horrors of war, but it was like, it's extremely noble. It's like, oh, you can get behind what these people are fighting for, because there's like an obvious enemy, and then although there are anonymous, so you can't really read into like the enemy, but it doesn't seem like the enemy could have any justifiable reason for attacking.
What, they want barley? It's all right.
Yeah. And then yeah, like that's a good argument. Come on, man. And then there's the samurai, who are like not perfect, but they seem like, noble in some senses. And then there's the people who are like, sometimes they do act like idiots, but they're like in a really rough situation and they need somebody to help them. And this is like how you hope that like wars would go. Like there's people who need help, and there's people defending those people who need help, and those people win, and the bad guys lose. Unfortunately, like the reality is war is not always so like good. There's an obvious good and an obvious bad, and there's an obvious outcome that would be the best outcome. Like it gets a lot more murky.
Are you saying the Nazis had souls?
Oh, no, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that might be a scenario where there is an obvious good guy and an obvious bad guy. Okay. Like most people would not have like as difficult time being like, oh, we should have gone to World War II when compared to like Vietnam or something else.
Okay, Schmoop would say that that's what this is.
Schmoop. And of course, this movie also inspired some other movies, including The Magnificent Seven, which was basically a direct adaptation of this as a Western.
Yes.
And then there was also A Bug's Life, you may have heard of, was based on the Seven Samurai.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
How's that?
Because think about it. There's a village. They're oppressed. The people are going to come back. There's a guy. He goes out. He recruits bugs to come with him and defend the village. And then they go defend the village. Right?
Yeah.
It's a little different because, like, they're not bandits. They're, like, trying to take over, basically. But it's pretty similar. Although I don't know whether they are, like, whether they have ever explicitly said that Seven Samurai, like, was the main influence for Bug's Life. It just is like people have noted that they're very similar.
The plot elements are used in Rogue One?
Yeah, because don't they recruit people? I mean, that's the thing is, like,
it's just recruiting.
It's just like they just have a patent on recruiting people. Anytime that people are recruited to do something and save something, that is now like you have to say it's based on Seven Samurai, because that is what happens in Rogue One too. They go like recruit all these people and they try to save this planet.
The Clone Wars episode Bounty Hunters, and then season 2 episode 4 of The Mandalorian.
Here's some other ways that they influence film. Large battle scenes in The Lord of the Rings and The Matrix Revolutions and Marvel studio films. So basically they're saying that like any major film has been influenced by Seven Samurai.
Well, how is Marvel influenced by this? I see no similarities.
It's the clearest precursor and became the model for the Hollywood blockbuster.
Okay.
Well, that kind of makes sense because it's like there's build up and then there's a fight, right?
Do you ever think that like, you know how like lots of people like love like people love The Godfather, right?
Yeah.
So then they like give it credit, like it did this, it did that, it did that. How nobody really knows.
No, because they're not really saying like anybody was like, oh, we were gonna make this movie and like I'm explicitly being influenced by Seven Samurai in order to do this. It's more that like this was the first movie that they could tell that had a large impact, that had elements that other films later had.
Quentin Tarantino is one of the best directors because he literally has a list of every movie that influences each of his movies.
Yeah, he's like very honest about his influences, but he's also maybe because he's very like obsessive about what he's influenced by. Like he loves film so much that he just like can't help but borrow things that he's seen. But for him it is helpful because he is not like ripping off one thing, he's just ripping off tiny bits of a bunch of things. Yeah, there's been like editing techniques that I've seen that they say are like slow motion. I didn't even notice the slow motion. That was another thing that they said on Prime when I was watching. I was like, there was slow motion in this?
I think there's slow motion when some of them like fell off horses and stuff.
Oh,
but it was like a few shots. I think.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was like 2 extended periods of slow motion.
No, but I mean, I think they just did it so we could see the whole picture.
I wonder whether this ended up on the Sight and Sound poll that we were going through that last time. 2022. No, it did not. Has it ever been on it? 2002. Yeah, it was in 2002.
As number 9.
Yeah.
Wait, there's 3 number 9s on that list.
Yeah, it was tied for number 9 with another. That's also
Rashomon. Yeah.
Rashomon. I also watched that
It's
movie
his
this year.
Other movie.
So far, almost half of the movies I've watched this year have been Akira Kurosawa. Same thing. It was 12th, and Rashomon was 11th in the 1992. That was the last version of the list. Now Tokyo Story, which is not Kurosawa, has taken over for like the Japanese cinema, I guess. I don't know he was number 3 in the 2002 directors poll though. Akira Kurosawa.
Of all time?
Of all time.
That's
Orson Welles was number 1. Interesting.
Just from Citizen.
And Federico Fellini.
Yeah.
Of course, Fellini. Jean
Ford
Renoir.
I like Francis Ford. Francis might be my favorite.
I think I've watched a movie from pretty much all of these guys, except for maybe David Lean and Billy Wilder, who I could easily watch films from. But I could easily do that.
Easier than you.
I can access films better than other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact.
It's movie privilege.
They just come to me.
Yeah. No, yeah. And another thing to note about this movie, though, is actually which I don't know if it got on there because of this, like the soundtrack itself.
Yeah. And
it wasn't, obviously not any notable songs or anything. It was there was a lot of chanting and singing, but it was mainly like the music that played. And then I think it was a great choice when music did not play. There were many moments, like most of the movie was like just them talking with no background. In the background, you could like feel like you're in the village.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Like there was like silence, and then there was there tended to be like a main refrain that was played. Mm-hmm. Like I've been sort of learning a little bit, like they call it a leitmotif, when there's like a signifying like refrain of music that you're like, oh, this means this. So like something in the movie. Now, like a leitmotif might be more specific, like Luke's theme in Star Wars or something like that. Whereas this is more of just like a signifier that's just like, oh, something's going to happen that's like more intense. Like the bandits are coming or something like that. And so then, it's always amazing how music can, like, it doesn't always like consciously influence you, but like it does make you feel a certain way about what's going to happen in the movie or what is happening. And like is like a signal, or is sometimes used that way, and I think it was in this movie.
Yeah, like before the bandits were coming, like when they're looking down the pathway, it would like when it was silent, you're like, oh, nothing's happening. Then it would go, and then you'd be like, oh, they're coming. But yeah, no, I think that was probably, I was very surprised because it's almost orchestral a little bit at the beginning at least.
Yeah.
So, and at the end as well. And then in some of the more silent parts were throughout the film when the plot was, taking place. But yeah, I mean, I just thought it fit well. Like it was just like it was kind of like some of them were like battle, like grandiose orchestra music things. But a lot of it was like, it felt like overtures rather than like scene music, It was like, this is a tale, a little bit.
Yeah. So. That kind of makes sense.
Kind of.
That makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, a little bit. But a lot of places burnt down in this. Right.
And because they burnt down, well, I'm not sure the villagers could afford it, but you'd hope that they would have called Hedman Anglin Agency. They might have had to send like a carrier pigeon across the Atlantic Ocean at that point. But if they had a phone, they would know that they should call 614-486-7300. That's 614-486-7300. To call Hedman Anglin Agency, who's known for saving people money on auto, home, and business insurance. And home includes all of your rice fields.
Does it?
I think it does.
Okay.
although
what
maybe
if your business is the rice?
I mean that's true too. Like your home and business like together.
Is it?
That's one thing.
Never mind. I won't ask that.
But if you have questions, you really should call them. And the cardboard cutouts are still here, or actually they're not.
No, they're
physically.
Here.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, yeah. Tell them that we sent you, Benjamin, and Zachary.
Yeah. Man, Japanese cinema. I don't know why I started it that way. Because Kurosawa was the only guy that I could like pick out from. But I know that there was like other directors during this period of time who were like very influential.
He's probably the most famous one in America, don't you think?
Yeah, that would be a good way to put it. It'd be kind of like that. I'm trying to think of a different country, like Bong Joon-ho from South Korea. He did Parasite, so he'd be the most known from South Korea.
Yeah, that's good.
Or Park Chan-wook, who's from I think Hong Kong.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Park Chan-wook. Sorry. No, he's also from Korea. My bad. So he might. Man, I don't know whether he or Bong Joon-ho would be more famous. I'm thinking of the guy who did that that one movie that I really like. In the Mood for Love. Who directed that? Now I'm just talking about Asian cinema in general, which these aren't even.
The Asians are all shaking their heads right now.
Wong Kar-wai, yes. No, but Kurosawa, he's good. So far, I've seen 2 of his movies this year, and hopefully I'll see a couple more, and they're all very good. I think it was interesting to compare Rashomon to this because Rashomon was very much like it was much smaller in its scale. There was only a couple of characters, and it was more about like telling a story, and like a couple of different characters told the story from different perspectives to like figure out what actually happened in the story, and who was lying and all of that. And then this movie was just like an epic. So he seems like somebody who is like very flexible in terms of what he can do. Like he's not like there was definitely similarities, especially in how the characters act. And I'm pretty sure one of the actors in the movie was definitely, if not multiple, were like in both movies. So that's like a common thing with directors to work with the same people.
Yeah, Takashi Shimura, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
He's in a couple other of his movies. I was looking up some of his movies, and he seemed to be the main character in a lot of them.
Yeah.
But he also seems to be like one of the most famous actors of that time because he seems to be in like very highly acclaimed, highly rated films, Japanese films, like all 4.5 stars and above. Which is like
he was the guy who played. No, he wasn't. He wasn't the guy. He played Kembe.
Yeah, he played the main character.
I think the guy who played Kikiyochu was in Rashomon.
Oh, really?
Nah, honestly, I think they were both in Rashomon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then I'll watch it because I actually enjoyed both of those were the best actors in that in this film for me. I actually think Takashi Shimura was actually really like he stood out to me as like he has like a memorable face first of all because one he was like rubbing his head throughout the whole movie like the top of his head whenever he was stressed out, and I was thinking like that's something that like that's like a realistic thing that someone would do, like have weird tics like that. Yeah, even a samurai. But yeah, and then like whenever he would smile, like I hadn't seen teeth that white in those villages.
Look at how many movies this guy was in.
I was looking it up.
That is insane.
Hundreds of movies.
That is insane. I mean, he's in like Godzilla movies. No, that's the thing. That's one thing I didn't even think about. Japanese cinema was influential from even before this because of Godzilla. I'm pretty sure there might have been an American version, but I'm pretty sure the very first one was
5 films a year, 6 films a year.
He was a hard worker.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yes. Yeah, he was the woodcutter in Rashomon. Yeah, so they were both the main character. No, okay. The guy who played Kikiyoshi was kind of the main character.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
No, he's listed as the main character. It's kind of like they both had major roles in it.
Okay, I'll have to watch that then.
Yeah, and it's much shorter, hour and a half.
Oh, really? That's gonna feel weird. No, but I enjoyed it. This film being long, like it gave it time to breathe. You know.
That's true.
And that's what everybody's excuse is for a long movie. Like it gave us time. It just gave us time to breathe.
Think about this. This movie Was this movie longer than Avatar?
Yeah.
This movie was longer than Avatar.
Wait, look up Avatar.
But I felt like this movie had like something happening that was important to the movie the whole time.
Yeah.
In all 3.5 hours.
You're saying because Avatar just had those cutscenes.
Well, Avatar had like scenes that were like just like, oh wow, this is so cool, which is fine. Like I wasn't complaining about that, but or Avatar: Way of Water specifically.
Be grateful. That was billions of dollars.
But they did all of that to get 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Rashomon is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
so.
and the Seven Samurai is 100% as well.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Seven Samurai is 100%. Avatar: Way of Water is only 76%.
Ah.
So like think about, and they made it for way less money.
Yeah.
So take that, James Cameron.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But James Cameron, like he worked on that for every year. It seemed like they were making movies, 6 of them a year.
Well, they certainly didn't
out.
spend as much time on graphic effects as that wasn't really a thing at that point. You couldn't spend time doing that.
Let's see. Avatar is 3 hours and 12 minutes, and this one's.
Well, maybe we watched an extended cut.
Yeah, we did, because that's the only one on full movie runtime. We watched the extended, I think. 207, so that's 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Yeah, that's the version we watched. So it's longer than it's longer than Avatar.
It's 15 minutes longer.
And it doesn't, and like there's no credits.
So we have to take 5 off, to be fair. There was a 5-minute intermission.
Oh, there was an intermission. That's
so
right.
Really it's 10 minutes longer.
I was like, oh good, there's an intermission. This will mean this,
I went pee.
This will make it shorter.
I looked up how long is the intermission, and I went pee. As it was playing. I was like, this is kind of nice. They need to integrate this.
The only other movie that I remember, and I never even finished it because we watched the intermission and we never, was this movie called Tora 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 that was about the attack on Pearl Harbor. I never finished watching it.
That's fitting.
It only got 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe it wasn't that good of a movie. That's why we didn't finish it.
Japanese
actually,
critics.
Sound of Music has an intermission too, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was in play
are
format.
alive with the sound. Oh, that is a long movie though. 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, play format maybe.
No, but I'm not gonna lie, but I think this is one of my favorite movies.
Favorite movies of all time?
I think so.
See, I really liked it, but I'm not sure like it's definitely my top 100, probably in my top 50.
Oh, okay.
But like right now as we speak, and it could change over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it doesn't hit me as like, oh, this would be like one of my absolute favorites.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's okay. It's just interesting.
No, you didn't know until I told you.
Now, once Zach said it was his favorite, now I have to no, actually I like it more than you, Zach.
Good. I really liked it because I think like the setting, like people don't really okay, sorry, I'm stuttering. People don't explain things in movies as well as something in this. Like in this movie, the director actually explained like what the logistics and practicalities would be to actually defend a village. Rather than like being like, we need to defend a village. The next scene that fight is happening. It's like a 10-minute storyline. This could have been a 10-minute short film, but they expanded it into 3.5 hours because they explained like, what would you need to motivate yourself? What would you need to assemble a team? What would you need to actually get everybody set up on northeast, southwest places? You know,
how would you make a cool piece of paper where you could mark off every single person that you killed? That was pretty awesome.
Sure.
The sheet.
Yeah.
I don't know why that struck me every time they drew an X.
I like the flag where they put the square or the triangle for the other guy, the crazy guy. But yeah, no, it was good. It was like there's these not only is there like honorable guys in this movie, which we don't see anywhere anymore.
Now it's all anti-heroes.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Like someone, like that's why I love Captain America. He tries to do the right thing, and we've ranted about this, but these guys, they come and they volunteer for nothing at all, trying to save this village. They're nomads.
Yeah,
it's almost relatable to some level, like where you can like walk away from this movie and be like, yeah, you know, when I help someone, like good for them, but in the end I lose, you know, and that's a true thing, but it doesn't mean you don't do it. And I think that's a good lesson to know. Like you're not always going to get something out of it. Just be ready to serve and not expect anything. Right. And that's what these guys did. That's what they devoted their lives to. So not only are they honorable men, but they're good leaders. Kembe is a really good leader for the samurai, but the samurai are, you know, most of them are pretty good leaders for the farmers. they assemble their troops, they motivate them, they get them together, they train them, they help them defend their village, and then Kenbai holds it all together by, not only teaching the farmers but also teaching the other samurai, the younger ones especially, like, what it looks like to actually have honor and defend your post and to do war as a team, like you said, and to not jump the gun like at the beginning when the younger guy wanted to go and he kind of restrained him for a while. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. Just like it's good to have a movie about these types of people. I'm sick of all these other ones, and I know everybody rants about it. It's not like a unique thing for me to rant about, but I do actually feel that way. So I think like a movie like this is not only refreshing, but to have all these practical elements in the movie makes it so much richer and better for me.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where it's like maybe the reason that we complain so much about movies being too long is because they don't have any sense of purpose for why they have their length. It's just like, oh, we're trying to hit a time or whatever. And like the scenes that they add in aren't really like adding anything to the plot. But this movie, every scene that is added or amounts to the whole full 3 hours and 20 minutes or whatever is like essential to understand the fullness of the film. So it does, so you don't feel like as cheated when you get to the end and you're like, wow, I spent all this time.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I feel cheated. Like that's a good word to describe. Yeah, I feel like someone, like the movie cheated on me. Like it had my loyalty and my trust,
and it just wasted it.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes you associate people with it. You're like, oh, this is gonna be good because this person directed it, and then you're like, what? Why didn't they do what they did? Like maybe like Tenet, like this guy, he's supposed to be like the best, and now it's like, oh, what are we doing here?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, I mean,
not to pick on Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. Maybe Oppenheimer will be his best. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, I think even though it was older and black and white and stuff, that would deter 50% of the population already.
Yeah, I don't know well, I do know why. I think anything that's like out of what you're used to seeing takes a little bit to be like to get over. Like now, if I go watch this, it's like not intimidating at all. But if it was like if I had only watched films that were a certain way, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go watch a 3.5 hour black and white movie that's in Japanese, like that would be kind of daunting. So just maybe start smaller, but work your way up to Seven Samurai if you're not there yet.
Like Ben said, he's better at watching movies than you. So just like get on his level.
I watch them in a much more complex Kafka-esque way.
Oh man, Kafka.
I just read The Metamorphosis.
Yeah, you told me.
It's so good. Yeah. It's not very long either, so it's not really that impressive that I read it, but
it's all right. It's good.
I'm 30 pages into Crime and Punishment too.
Nice.
So only like 470 pages left.
Very nice. Let's see if he makes it, guys. Hold him accountable.
So far, not much has happened, and maybe I'll give a Crime and Punishment update. The main character, I don't know how to pronounce his name because it's Russian, and it's kind of like this movie. I'm not familiar with the language. Don't know how to pronounce any of the names. He is super poor, and he hangs out with a bunch of poor people, and there's the whole like second chapter is basically just this one guy in a bar like complaining about how terrible his life is and how terrible his wife's life is, but he's drinking like and taking away resources from his family by drinking, so he's like kind of a scumbag too. And his wife married him because she basically had no other options other than to marry him. So, and she was like born into wealth, but she escaped for love, and then her husband died and she had to remarry this guy because she was like super poor, and she has 3 kids, and they like live in this place, and this one guy beat his wife, and it was horrible. Like there's so many like bad things that have happened to these people, and it's like they're the poorest of the poor in St. Petersburg in the 1800s. So it's pretty compelling, pretty morbid, sad stuff, but very influenced. If you know anything about Dostoevsky, a lot of this is coming from his like own experience, so it makes it a little bit more powerful.
Very good.
That's what I gleaned out of 30 pages. So you can imagine what's happening.
Wait for the rest of the 460 or 70. It's gonna be whatever. All right. Yeah, Ben. Anything else to add for this film? It's pretty simple film.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like 3.5 hours, but it doesn't take that long to like dissect it. The only thing we didn't really talk about was like the relationship between the guy and his daughter, the farmer and his daughter, and the one samurai. That was maybe the only thing that like in our modern age would like a lot of people would be put off by, and probably for good reason, because there was a lot of, well, you could see the motive. The dad wants to like protect his daughter, but it was also sort of like maybe a little bit misplaced in terms of like as soon as his daughter maybe made a mistake, it was like she was worthless, which that's obviously not a good way to view your relationship with someone. But like I can understand like being overprotective and wanting to protect your daughter, like because a lot of these samurai would like go in and like do horrible things to the women because they had so much power. And so like, and that's not necessarily what was going on in this situation, like although it may not have been like they didn't end up together at the end, like so it may really not have been the best relationship to begin with. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I mean, he was just hitting her. That was kind of
that was true. That was bad. So yes, it was bad. It should be off-putting.
Yeah, and the samurai even condones it, so it's just kind of like even the director made it seem like it was bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were like, oh, this is just a normal thing. No, it wasn't. He was definitely not reacting in a
I mean, he was
proper
calling
way.
his daughter all these terrible things.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to say. Like he could have thought his daughter made the wrong decision, but the way that he reacted to it was like the wrong way. Like no one should ever react
like, well,
that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. It's an interesting element to the film that seemed to be unnecessary, but maybe it wasn't. It was kind of like
yeah, that was maybe the only thing that was kind of like...
Well, it was like a spiral right before the night before the big battle, so it was like caught everyone off guard, and then they had to remotivate everyone. So I think it had some purpose.
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising to me when it was like there was only 15 minutes left and they were still dealing with that part of the script, because I'm like, well, where's the big battle? And the big battle was only against like 13 of them, so it wasn't as big as maybe.
It was a long battle. They got them one by one, really.
Yeah, really, there was like multiple smaller battles. They never really lost a battle other than that one that the guy made a dumb decision.
I mean, 7 samurai seemed like overkill.
Maybe the last question that we'll deal with is, why did the bandits keep coming back after they lost every single time, pretty much, other than the one time?
I don't know. I feel like if there were only 40 of them and 27 of them died, I wouldn't send in my last 13 of them.
Well, they have a choice in doing this. Like, they could be like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. I don't know who's leading them.
Do you think it's like some really, really good barley?
Maybe. Or maybe this is like their whole, like, they would die because this is their only plan to get food. So, like, they don't have a backup plan, so they have to go all out.
Maybe. It seemed like they had, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could infer that maybe. They were desperate for it, for sure.
Yeah.
It seemed like this was like a regular... No, but they haven't taken things from this before, right? They haven't taken... Because they, like, scouted it out, and that was the first time that the farm felt like they were in danger.
I thought they took something... Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe they took something, and I missed that part. But, yeah, I mean... They were so desperate to the point, maybe they were either going to die of starvation or that they were sent by someone else. But bandits don't really have that type of hierarchy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They were calling them
bandits. They did have a leader, I think, but...
Yeah, the eye patch guy and the other screaming guy. But, yeah, I thought those were samurai because they had the samurai, like, suits on. But I'm guessing they took it from killed samurai.
It also just didn't seem like they learned anything anytime they attacked. Like, the first time you attack and realize, like, oh, they're, like, a lot more organized than we thought they would be. You'd think they'd come back with a different plan, but...
I think for me, it seemed like they all split up. Even though there were only 40 of them, they all split up to different sides, and each side, like, kind of died off.
Yeah.
And that was, like, their mistake, because, like, they would come in, like, one at a time and just die one at a time.
Right.
So I feel like when there were 40 of them, they should have just went all at once, and they would have been okay.
Yeah, because that would be harder... Than get like having 8 against 1 for multiple battles than having 40 against, I don't know. They might have had more still.
I would have ditched the horses, and like I would have used them till I got there. Then I would have ditched them.
Yeah,
it seemed like that was kind of their downfall a lot.
Yeah, and the spears put them at a disadvantage because they didn't. The villagers could basically like
reach them, but
they couldn't reach the villagers, and they could just surround them. So that was sort of the other issue. with the bandits. So the bandits, their strategy was
I think what you do is you stand outside the village and just use bow and arrows.
Yeah.
And
or just start setting stuff on fire.
Yeah, like throwing a torch in.
Yeah. Or like shooting like bows,
flaming
arrows and stuff like that maybe.
Like I would shoot the flaming arrow at the women and children hut.
Yeah.
First.
As horrible as that sounds. But this is the bandits you have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
They have no scruples.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, I agree. So that solves that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So we have covered some heavy hitters. Citizen Kane, Seven Samurai. These are some of the biggest and best movies ever. So we maybe have reached the pinnacle of movies we're going to review on the Movie Vault, and everything might just pale in comparison to some of these movies.
Yeah. Maybe.
We've reviewed The Godfather.
Not part 2 and 3.
Yeah. We'll never find better movies than this. I'm just kidding. We probably will.
I don't know.
Maybe not better, but we'll still find some good ones, I think.
We'll see. The best movie could be yet to come.
Maybe it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Maybe. I'll be so excited if it was. Like, it just had some deep emotional story arc for Winnie.
Yeah.
Or for Pooh.
Yeah.
Wait, Pooh? Why do they call him Pooh?
Pooh Bear.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, maybe. But, no. I think the best movie is yet to come.
Like, we haven't made the best movie yet.
Yeah. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
No, because I feel like I don't know. I mean, it's always possible. But
with the downfall of society, and maybe it's downfalling, maybe it's not. It's at a downward slope. It could be,
it could come back up.
Yeah, it could come back up.
It could react back up.
But let's all be honest, like, we're in a downward slope, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So I think for now we're gonna see some trashy movies for at least another 4 or 5 years. I'm hoping when the second renaissance comes, the technological renaissance, and then the technological artificial intelligence renaissance. Then we'll get some like really weird, messed up movies that AI makes, and then AI will know exactly what we think is a good movie, and then it'll make a perfect movie, like clinically perfect.
The perfect movie. That would actually honestly be an interesting movie to make, a movie about a perfect movie being made. You could beat the curve to that one, if you know what I like. What would it be like? Because like philosophically, the difficult thing about like a perfect movie is like would the standard change? Because like the human mind is like malleable, so like AI could like try to interpret what humans thought was the best movie, but then when they make that movie,
it would be personalized. Sorry,
it would be personalized to each
like everyone
individual.
has their own AI that makes a perfect movie for them. To
Interesting.
Our own taste buds.
Okay. Now that would also be an interesting movie.
This one
but that
has
would be
these
different.
synaptic pathways. Oh, let me just prune this right now. I'll make this so I can literally excite every single neuron. I'm gonna make this guy have seizures all day. Yeah.
My neurons are so excited right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna I know this specific pathway that will cause the most excitement. Like the most grave of humans will become jumping and shouting on the streets with pots and pans. Like there's a possible way for that to happen. All from like they have to know what visual stimulus will cause a human to act in a certain way. And then eventually they'll create movies that will create visual stimulus that'll make us move our arms like to do something, and then they have control of us.
Wow.
It's like The Last of Us. Have you seen that?
No, is it the HBO show?
Yeah.
There's
like a fungus that controls ants, but it like evolves to control humans.
Oh.
But they're like zombies, so it's a little weird. But that's like the premise. So I think AI will be like that. I don't think it's gonna be a fungus. I think it's gonna be an AI. I'm actually excited. I'm not like against it. I'm not. You're laughing, but I'm really not. Like, what would we do with would we be any better? Come on. Like,
that's true.
If AI does, if AI kills half the human race, wouldn't we do that eventually? Like,
yeah, it's going to be faster to us. I don't know, because the thing with AI is, I feel like AI, its ethical standards, will it reflect society, or will they come up with their own like different ethical standards?
They'll put what we input, and then they'll take it from there. So
so really whatever we input in, that's the scary part.
Well, it's unpredictable.
But then it could start to make different decisions based on that.
I'm just waiting. I hope the singularity when things when AI gains consciousness. Do you think? I hope it happens on my birthday, and then that would be the best birthday gift, because things just go exponential after that. AIs can combine.
It's sort of like when the internet was created.
It's like Jarvis. It's like Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Ultron like actually happens, and we have to assemble like a real Avengers. Like it's like Barry Weiss.
Like the Avengers movies were actually just like very prophetic, and like
who would be our modern day Avengers?
Well, it's pretty obvious. Elon Musk as Iron
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so we got that one. Dwayne the Rock Johnson
As the Hulk. Yes. Okay, that's good. Do we have to do a 1-to-1 match though? Can't there be other ones?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 1-to-1. Probably we could make our own types of Avengers.
JoJo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa.
We
Kim Kardashian, obviously.
Oh no, Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Maybe.
Who else would be on the Avengers team?
I don't know. I mean, I think we have a team.
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, but she'd be the annoying one that everybody secretly wants to die.
Yeah.
Like we'd be like, put a bomb on her and send her in.
Yeah. And then I just started thinking
there'll be like a world-ending threat of like aliens, and she'd be like global warming's gonna kill us before these aliens. They just kill her.
Or she gets mad because the aliens beat global warming. Like,
Yeah.
no, wrong.
No, my plan has failed. She's like secretly. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like one of the D'Amelio sisters has to be
No.
in the Avengers.
No, they're
like, because there has to be somebody doing a TikTok dance.
Oh yeah, I mean,
They don't do anything. Like that's what I'm like.
Like
Whoever.
the
I mean, it
D'Amelios
doesn't have to be one of the D'Amelio sisters. Could be someone else, but they just have to be somebody who's on TikTok and just does dances.
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, he would be excellent.
Yeah,
He would be a good addition.
I'm thinking lots of food guys.
Guy Fieri.
I was thinking of that guy. You know that guy that did like the food stuff? Is he alive still?
Well, that's not descriptive at all.
No, the guy. He's like the most famous guy right now for food. He like just eats this garbage food constantly every day.
Nikocavo Attica.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even have to say it. Yeah, he would have a superpower.
Yeah.
Right?
Nikocavo Attica. No, he would be in the Avengers in the modern. Like if we were taking it from like people in the U.S. Yeah, he would be.
I guess.
I don't know what his power would be, but.
And we should put like the Japan's martial arts.
It
team.
also would be interesting to think of these as people like who would we send if there was like alien life that came and like we had to send ambassadors to like talk to them, like who would we send?
We probably wouldn't have a choice. It would probably be our president.
Oh, that would be boring.
It would be really boring.
Yeah,
Or
you're
we could
right.
send like an AI. I would send an AI.
We send an AI.
That would
Wow, this is very impressive. This planet is
Yeah.
like not us at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would send an AI because then they could outcompute the aliens, hopefully. Unless they have their own.
They might have their own AI. That's
More
probably. I mean, you have to think if the aliens get here before we get to the aliens, that they're more advanced than
not
us.
necessarily. They could have different resources that we don't know about.
Oh, that's true.
And the resources determine where society goes and what
Yeah.
intelligence forms.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's very interesting to think about. But yeah, I think if those things were to happen, then AI, we would need like, if it's an Avengers level threat, like that's probably what they'll name it. Then we need to have like some actual Avengers probably.
Right.
And we probably wouldn't call them Avengers. We'd probably call them like American Space Force, like whatever.
Yeah, like the Space Force is here. Well, Steve Carell, like yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that show. It's all right. The writing's kind of weird, but yeah. No, yeah. So, yeah, it's just something to think about. Put in the back of your mind. You know, when AI happens, come talk to me. I'm gonna have a few methods. I'm gonna make peace with it. I'm not gonna fight it. Okay, I'm going to integrate my brain into the AI so I don't have to die.
Well, Elon Musk basically says that
Neuralink.
we'll have to do that
because AI will outbeat it. We
I've
have to join.
And I've always thought about it like there's going to be a certain group of people who are going to react strongly against it. But the thing that's going to happen is having AI. Once you get combined with AI, you will be so much more advanced than like if you don't combine with the AI, you'll be so behind.
It technically creates a different species.
Yeah, it could.
Robo sapiens.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
So it would be very difficult not to have join with the AI is what I'm saying.
Too tempting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I'm saying because it's too difficult not to, that you should definitely do it. That's my whole argument. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it's basically the argument that I made right there.
I mean, we're either we're all going to become drones like that, or we'll just become drones as we already are right now. That's okay. Like we're all just becoming.
I mean, we all sort of are, but we have this illusion that we aren't combined because like we have access to way more information and stuff. We just like it's physically separated from our bodies.
Yes.
But this would just be like it's not separated from our bodies.
No, this is what they do. They all the Fed, whatever you want to call it, the Big Brother, not Big Brother,
the Orwellian
the man,
thing.
The man says you can be unique, but only in these certain ways. You have these categories to be unique. The rest of it, you must all conform. Right?
Right.
Right? Okay. That's step number 1. Then the AI stuff comes, okay? The COVID vaccine was the start. I'm just joking. This is all theoretical. Then the AI stuff comes. They say, in order to live, there's this new virus that came. You have to get an AI. And I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm putting an AI in me. And we're going to all have this system in the back of our heads that not only gives us more information and has access. It's a Google in our head, right? It's a chat GTP that can help us text, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever skills you want to use it for.
Oh, I already know what to say.
But it's also something more than that. It not only does that, but it does inception. Where now that they know, it scans our brains and knows all of our pathways. It can, like the perfect movie thing, it can incept thoughts into us. Send these pathways to think that we have these memories that we don't actually have. Create our own lives, then we're drones. Neuralink has that potential. I can't wait for that because memory is just electricity.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it like it's all these pathways. To retrieve them are just these. People still don't know what they are, but like these, all these pathways have it's very complicated for what they do and how memory is linked with those different pathways. But at the basic level, what it means is like with Neuralink, what we can do is like do real life inception, and that might be many, many years away. But with AI, if the singularity occurs on my birthday next week in 2 weeks, then we'll have an exponential rate. We'll go towards it very fast.
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
excited.
we're waiting for that moment, and then it will happen quickly.
I am excited because I'm ready to get my braces off. Okay, I'm sick of these things, and AI will help me.
Maybe AI could identify the slight like errors with your teeth earlier, and then you could fix them in easier ways. I don't know.
I think they could just synthesize a new mouth for me, or a
True.
new head.
Yeah,
or
just a new body.
Yeah, that's true. Transferring to a new body. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or we could just upload ourselves onto a hard drive.
Yeah. There's a TV show about that called Upload. It's a good idea. I mean, I would never do it. That's stupid.
Yeah, that just seems dumb.
It's like a retirement home that glitches. Here's your pudding. Glitch. Just kidding. It's a chainsaw. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
That is all very fascinating and could be potentially scary or exciting depending on who you are.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared of future. People have always been scared
Assimilate.
about technology, and it always happens, and
I don't know.
nothing bad ever comes of it, and it is always positive for society.
I feel like there's so many things to be scared about. Just integrate. Just assimilate.
Don't be. Yeah.
follow.
Oh man, we're already coming up with really good propaganda titles.
Assimilate, integrate, follow.
Don't be afraid. Just assimilate. No.
Yeah. Assimilate or exterminate.
Just assimilate. Otherwise, we will kill you.
Assimilate or there will be consequences.
Well, they'll just incept propaganda into your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like.
Because right now, any sort of influence, like whenever they talk about this thing influence, it's sort of not like more indirect. Like I saw this things on the internet a lot of times, so now I'm thinking that I should do this.
Now, this is something that's true. We want a capitalist market to find this AI, right? We don't want China to make this AI. We don't want Russia to make this AI, because then they have it all. They win. Okay.
Yeah. Whoever makes this and this comes down to the whole reason why the U.S. has to be a world power, quote unquote, because of course, geopolitics are insanely complicated, and there's all just certain things. But at the base level, the argument for why you can't just have the U.S. just pool all of their resources and just hide everything here is that one of those other countries is just going to fill the void, the power vacuum, and just take over everything. And if their technology, this is why they had the space race and all of that. I don't know whether you actually should do that or not. I don't know, but that's just it feels like the natural thing to what would happen. It's kind of crazy that there was the space race and there was and now all of a sudden there's just we have 20,000 nuclear bombs because we had to build better nuclear bombs that we never dropped thankfully, or not yet.
AI could.
AI could do. AI could just determine. Well, the best thing for Earth would just be to like blow the whole thing up.
Yes, that's its backup system. That's what happens if China or Russia gets their hands on these, even America. So we need a small independent company to find AI. Let's do it. We need.
And that's what we're announcing today on the Movie Vault.
The Movie Vault AI. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
OSU's making their own AI.
Really?
Yeah.
For what? Are they using just
mind control of their students? To join classes, you must have this chip inserted into the back of your head.
Oh, remember.
Go Buckeyes.
Remember to go to your class this morning. What did college students do that they get away with that they shouldn't get away with doing?
ChatGTP.
Don't drink and drive.
Not at OSU. Everything's from walking distance. No, probably for OSU it's Chegg maybe.
Chegg.
Just looking at
Don't use Chegg.
No, what they would do is, all right, everybody. It would be Christina Johnson on the intercom of every single dorm. It's 8 a.m. Everybody, wake up! Time to go to class. Everybody gets up, gets their clothes on, goes to class. All right, walk in single file. Biochemistry students, you go there. Chemistry students go that way. Business students, you go last.
It's like everyone just like going in like perfect line. Just
Yes.
Have you ever watched Wrinkle in Time? Or
Yes.
not watched or read the book?
No, I watched
the book
the
is
movie,
better.
I'm
And
sure.
where everything is like linked to that one brain,
Yeah.
and like everybody like
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they're like-
Wrinkle in Time is awesome.
They're like,
book.
come in for staff meeting and where we assign your gender. Today, your gender is 325. Please go assist.
Excellent selection that you were made today.
Thank you, Christina Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, student number 374. All right, it's 375. Please step up.
Isn't this so much better?
Don't you like your life?
I mean,
Aren't you
this
learning so much?
does actually sound Orwellian now,
I'm
because the
excited.
whole Orwellian thing was like authoritarianism is going to be like everything is just so structured and it just takes away any inefficiency, basically. Oh, the candle is.
It's okay.
It's going to be okay. But whereas Huxley in Brave New World was like, I think Brave New World currently is a little bit more accurate to the current paradigm we're in, because it was like pleasure is going to be the way that we can control people. Like people will be so happy
Wake
like
up,
doing
everybody.
these certain things. But maybe we can find both, where like it's both Orwellian and I don't know, they say Huxleyan, but Huxwellian. Yeah, where it's just like both things. Where it's like pleasure and order.
I'm just imagining. That'd be so annoying. And we have no thoughts of our own. It's all like downloading biochemistry notes. Downloading. And there'll be no exams.
Essentially, we would just be robots at that point.
I'm okay with that.
Like
I'm already kind of like
it's
that.
actually sort of like degrading the humanness.
Yeah. Elon knows that. He's trying to help us. He's also doing a lot of other things. But that's okay. That's for another time. We're way over time.
All right. Well, we'll leave you with all of those. It's really crazy that one of our oldest movies we did, we talked about the most modern things. It just shows you how timeless movies can be.
Sure.
Or how distracted we can get. One of the two. But with that, we'll close the vault.
Rip Justin Roiland.